Let perseverance finish its work. If you've been reading the book of James, then you would know that this is a quote from James chapter 1, verse 4. Several years ago, someone shared this verse with me while I was in the middle of a very difficult time. And if I'm completely honest, I did not appreciate the wisdom that was being shared with me. After all, who wants to persevere? Isn't it easier to give up? And so I looked up the word, and the New International Version uses the word perseverance. The ESV uses the word steadfast. The New King James uses patience, and the NASB uses endurance. And so I looked up the actual Greek word, and it says the capacity to hold out or bear up in the face of difficulty. What James is telling his readers is that we have to be willing to represent God even when it's not easy. I felt like over the last few years, being a faithful follower of God has taken just a little bit more perseverance than it used to. And even though that is frustrating and challenging for us, it's important to remember that following Jesus today is way, way easier than it would have been during the first century when James penned his epistle. So what I want to tell you today is we need what James is teaching. We need to understand what he is sharing with us. So if I read the context of the passage, so James chapter 1, verses 2 to 4, it says, "Consider it pure joy, my brothers and sisters, whenever you face trials of many kinds, because you know that the testing of your faith produces perseverance. Let perseverance finish its work so that you may be mature, complete, not lacking anything." The thing that you need to learn about patience, perseverance, endurance, the thing that you need to learn about these things is that it's leading you somewhere. James says, consider it pure joy when you go through trials because it is leading you to being a mature follower of Jesus. I want you to imagine that you're walking along a path, and then that path is obstructed by a river, and you can't walk across the river, you can't swim across the river, and you're stuck. This is your trial. And then you notice that there are some rocks in the middle of the river, and you can jump from rock to rock, and you can get across the river. Because of the joy of getting across the river and continuing on your path, you will endure the rocks that are slippery, that are wet, that you could fall into the river. There are all sorts of things. You don't look at the rocks thinking that they are great rocks. You look at the rocks as an opportunity to grow and an opportunity to continue along your path. What I want to say to you today is that we are supposed to take joy in our suffering, in our long suffering, in the challenges that we face, not because we actually enjoy it, but because we enjoy the refining that God is doing in our heart. See, over time, the challenge, that doesn't get any easier, but we get stronger so that things that used to be difficult become a little bit more easy over time. So let perseverance finish its work. And if it's hard, then let perseverance finish its work. And if you don't like that, well then let perseverance finish its work.